few weeks ago, I did a video where I made some really cute resin turtles using the new Into resin molds. But lo and behold, I mixed up too much resin. But I always have a mold on the ready, so I used the leftovers to start a multi-layer project. And you guessed it, another turtle. Now, if you missed that video, there is a link below so you can watch it. But let's start from the beginning and we'll finish Ted the Turtle. Just want to give him some shimmer. And we'll do multiple layers on this turtle, obviously, because this is a 13 ounce. Yeah, 13.1 fluid ounces. That's what I like about the Let's Resin molds too, the bigger molds, is that they mark the capacity on the mold, which is nice. That way you don't have to guess. But I'm going to rub this all over the inside of the mold to cover his shell. Get up in there. You don't need very much at all. And then I'm going to tap this out. See how much left over I have? I'm going to go ahead and tap this out in the trash can. This has given me a nice shiny finish, and there is some up in here, which I don't really care. It's fine. Oh, and I'm gonna get something down in his eyeballs. I think I could do that later. I don't think I'm gonna have enough of this resin at all, but I'm gonna pour it. Just go ahead and pour it in here. Just all in one. And that'll at least cover the top part of his shell. And then I can do something else. And I don't want him going it down in his head, so I think I want to elevate it like this. I want it going in his tail, like that, but not his legs. All right, so I need to think fast. Use my ruler. That'll work. I need to elevate him a little bit more. This is a turtle I did a while back and it broke. His little leg broke, his little flipper broke here, and his tail broke. So I had to bring it back home and do some surgery on it, but not today. But it's going to be a good little pedestal for our situation today, because what I want to do is make a two-tone turtle. So the resin right now, what we have right now, is going into his tail section. I think that's going to work. I think it's going into the little tail. So this mold has a little piece here where it'll form a tail, and I want it to drip down in there. So this is what we're gonna start with. I think this is gonna be gorgeous. Okay, so I'm ready to finish this turtle, and I have the first layer poured in with the mica powder, and I want you to think of this as the first layer, even though when it's demolded, it's going to look like the last layer. But it's kind of hard to visualize it now. But so the shell, it's covering the shell. So that first layer is the shell. And now I hope I'm making sense. I don't know if I am or not. But now I need to fill the rest of it. And these molds, this mold literally holds 13 ounces of resin. That's a lot of flipping resin, but it's a super, super cute mold. It's a really, really cute mold. I got mica powder all over it. So this is one that I made a while back. I think this was the first time I ever used this mold. So he's been around a little while, but I love the shell. Like I love the shell part, and that's why I added the mica powder, because I wanted the details in the shell to really come out. And then I used my mermaid trash mixed with resin to form the flippers, and then this little leg broke. And then I never got his tail to form. So I don't know if I maybe just didn't fill it enough. So I am going to add something, I think, inside for the eyes. So I think I am going to use some UV resin to make his eyes. And I'm going to use my mermaid pearls. And I want the right sizes. So I want these sizes because I think these would look really good. Oops. I think these would look really good as eyes. I don't know. Well, we're going to use them anyway. All right, this is going to take a little bit of finagling. I'll have a link to Amazon for these too. I'm going to go ahead and use the Bond Crafter UV resin. I'll have a link to this in the description. It's a kind of a medium viscosity. It's not real thin. It's not real thick. And then I have my Let's Resin curing UV curing lamp. Super portable. Really like it. I'm going to first. It's going to be really hard to show you all exactly what I'm doing, but man. I'm just adding some of this, the UV resin in where the eyes would go. Oh man, this is going to be a mess. And then I'm hoping I can get them dropped in there where they need to be. These are the best things ever for working with these little bitty details. These are cocktail skewers. Love them. So I can get it stuck in there. Probably have a little bit more UV resin than I need, but I can get them, get in there. I don't think it needs to be like 100% anatomically correct. I mean, we're talking about a resin mold. See if that is cured. First, not super worried about the position of the eyeballs because I'm not building an artificial heart here. It's just a resin turtle, so it doesn't need to be super anatomically correct, okay? Okay, I'm gonna flip this upside down and put my mold on top of it. If you do this, don't look at the light, okay? So I'm gonna set it aside. I'm gonna mix up 10 ounces, and I'm gonna use the Let's Resin UV resistant resin again, the 2-part. This is not like resin glue, like what you would use with a UV curing lamp. So I'm gonna mix up 10 ounces. Oh, I love this little mixer. This thing is rechargeable, so I can set it to mix and then just leave it. It doesn't have to be plugged in. I love it. So while that's mixing, I did insert his eyes. I'm hoping that they will turn out okay. I don't think this is gonna, well, I guess it's running out of batteries. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. Hello. There we go. All right, so You want to be careful when you use a resin in a deeper mold like this, because you don't want to use a resin that is not meant for a deeper pour. And I don't want to use a deep pour resin and have to wait 24 hours. So, but I think this will be fine. And it's not that deep. This is a resin that's actually meant for a little bit deeper. It'll work fine. And I always like to give it one extra stir just to make sure that I scrape the edges, just like when you're making cookies or muffins or whatever. You always want to scrape your bowl, even if you're using a KitchenAid, just to make sure everything is good to go. I'm going to go ahead and pour another layer. I'm going to do multiple layers. I'm going to go ahead and pour enough to try to get, well, that's not going to work. All right. Really just up to the flippers. I probably definitely have used too much, haven't I? That's all right. Okay. So that I think is covering, is it going in his head? I want to squish the air bubbles out of his head if it's going in there. I want to try, I don't want to get into the flippers, but I don't know if you can see this, but I want to make sure that all of this is covered without going into the flippers, but I think this might be going into the flippers. And that's going to be enough. That's going to be perfect. I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to let it sit and get a little thick. The air bubbles are coming up to the top. I am going to hit it with my heat gun. The reason I'm going to let it sit and get thick is because I want to be able to embed some little things on top of this layer so they look like they're floating. And then that way, when I come over it with another top layer, top coat, it's going to look like it's floating. So what am I always saying? To trust the process. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to hit it with my heat gun, which is somewhere low heat and high air. And I just want to and I'm going to have to do this a couple of times throughout the curing process because I want to be able to get the bubbles that keep coming up. So you may have to do this a few times. It's not a big deal. I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I just changed my mind. So I'm having a change of heart on this. I'm going to go ahead and pour some out, if I can do that without making a great big mess. And I know I've just made a great big mess. So, get you up here where you can see. So this is what I've decided to do is I did pour some out. I've made a mess, I'm sure. But I'm going to fill this cavity with these green, or not green, these are blue glass glass beads from the Dollar Tree. And I'm only going to use the blue ones. I don't think I'm going to use the frosted ones because they will get washed out with the resin. But these that are shiny like this, they're solid blue throughout. And because if I hit this with resin, the frostiness is going to go away and you won't see much color at all. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to drop them in. I really don't know if this is going to even work, but we're going to find out. I have so many of these. I hoard them. I really do. I really do hoard them. If I see them at garage sales or yard sales, most of these are probably from garage sales. And so I bring them home and I hoard them until I find the perfect project like this. So it is displacing the resin a little bit, but I don't care. I'm hoping that these will look like bubbles. Oh, and all that resin I have left over. My goodness. Okay. I think that that is going to be just enough. I almost stuck my stick into my glass bubbles there. I'm gonna pour a little bit more. Just enough for a smooth layer on top of the beads. And then I'm gonna let this sit. And then I'm still gonna go in with a top coat on, on the flippers, the back. Just gonna finish it off. And I don't know what color I want to top coat it with. Which I say top coat, it's the top coat of, like, it's the last coat of the resin, but it's not really the top coat because it's going to be the bottom of the turtle, if that makes sense. So this one we're going to have to wait and see. The working time on this resin, I think, well, not the working time, it doesn't really matter, but the demolding time is a good 24 hours. So we're going to have to wait until we do the top coat. I'm going to do a quick voiceover for this section because Mr. Magnolia decided to take this time to come into the studio while I was filming. So, long story short, I mixed up 80 milliliters of the UV resistant epoxy and then added a few drops of the KS resin, liquid resin dye in turquoise. And I did have a lot left over, so I went ahead and made some of these little turtle molds. I will have a link in the description to everything I use. These little turtle molds are absolutely incredible. I've had them for about 4 years, I think, and they are just wonderful. Now, I'm a little tiny bit concerned that I've added too much liquid resin dye to this part. It's a little bit dark. It's almost black, but the results are just stunning. You'll see in just a minute. All right, this guy is still a little bit bendy, but I can't help myself. I need to demold it. I already demolded these little turtles, and now I'm a little bit worried that I put a little bit too much of the liquid resin dye because these guys are really dark. They almost look black, but if you hold it up to the light, it's off. Yeah, so see, you can see it. It is really, it's really cool when you hold it up to the light. On a sculpture or on a Christmas tree, not so much. It's definitely going to have to be backlit. So I'll figure that out. Maybe I'll save these at Christmas and use them on a Christmas tree with some lights. I don't know. But I needed some turtles, so let's just go ahead and demold these. I'll figure out a use for them. I mean, they're cute. You know, maybe I'll add some different colors on the top. Actually, these look like little baby turtles running from the beach into the water. Okay, and now Miss Mermaid. Mermaid. Oh yeah, she's pretty. I really love these mermaid molds. I got the pack of 4 on Amazon. I've used them a lot. They're really, really well made. The detail is exquisite. And the mold is really flexible. They're very well made. Absolutely love my mermaid molds. So that is a win. Set these aside. And I like these turtle molds too. It's the same really, really good flexible silicone, and really love them. So I use them a lot. Now for Mr. Turtle, you can see my fingerprint. I pushed my fingerprint in it last night because I was waiting. I was a little bit impatient. So, da, 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 da. I think he's probably going to be not as bendy. Oh my gosh, I can already tell this is gorgeous. Just don't want to break his flippers like I did last time. His flippers are a little bit bendy. Look at his little butt, his little tail. Yeah, there we go. Get that out of there. Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh my gosh. I don't want to break him. Did I just break it? No, that was just a piece, but his tail's still intact. So see, this is the same dark blue. I put the case resin turquoise resin dye in here, so I was afraid it was going to be a little bit too dark, but I think it's going to be okay. Okay. Oh, 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 oh. Are you ready? Oh, look at him. His little eyes. Okay, the eyes did okay. It just still looks a little creepy, but cute. Not exactly what I was hoping for. I'm happy with the color of the flippers though. I think that for me, use of the mica powder on the shell is not the look I'm going for. I need something that's going to be clear. And so I had added the glass, you know, the little glass beads in here, and you can't even see them. Now, it was a great way to fill up the shell so that I could, you know, not use so much resin. But I mean, I like it. It's just not the look I was going for. But it's overall, it's in, you know, perfect as far as the shape, the condition, everything. And sorry, I'm sniffing. I have a little bit of a cold. That's what happens when you travel. But his eyes look a little creepy to me. So, I mean, I like it. I just need to just trim up the edge here. And I'll probably, what I'll do is just take a deburring tool, or it would work really well. It's an X-Acto knife, just to smooth these edges out. And I don't have my knife this way. I have my knife flat, and I'm just scraping. Okay. And then that way I don't scratch my mold. You just have to be really careful that you're not going to scratch your piece. And so I'll smooth any little edge that I find when there's not that many on here at all, as I didn't overfill the mold. You get those little rough edges when you overfill your mold, and the resin kind of rises up on the edge, and you get that rough edge, but not bad on this one at all. That's it. Maybe a little bit more. So overall, good experiment, because remember, I haven't used this mold but a few times, and I really love the mold. So I'm just trying out different ideas. The next time, I'm not going to use the mica powder in the shell. That's not the look I want at all. Because I think mica powders are just, they're not as translucent as I would like. Now, look at his little tail. Now, what would really be cute, though, is if I could get something that's more translucent, because I really would like to see definition in the shell. And I don't know if I could take some paint markers maybe and define the shell maybe before I pour. But I don't know if I really have the patience for that or if I have the skill for that. But I've seen people do that. You actually take a paint marker before you pour the resin and define the shell. I don't know if I want to do that. But I don't know. Maybe I'll play around a little bit more with it. But I like him. He's cute. Make it a crafty day, friends. Bye. How cute would that be? Maybe not.